everyone, today's video is going to be a Christmas food favourites. I always feel like favourites videos are such a throwback. I know I did one not too long ago about my overall vegan favourites, but I used to film these all the time back in the day when I used to make like makeup and beauty videos. I still really enjoy watching them, and I thought, seeing as I've eaten so much Christmas food over the last few weeks, I would create one video just summarising all, what I would recommend, what I wouldn't recommend. So if you guys still haven't done your Christmas shopping yet, I know that a lot of people do it on like the 23rd, 24th. Maybe this will give you some inspiration on the kind of things that you should pick up. Obviously only based on my taste buds, and other people might have very different opinions, but I thought I would just share with you guys what I've really loved from the supermarket Christmas ranges this year, and maybe what I've loved a little bit less. So I've broken out everything that I've tried into snacks, party food, and also like main Christmas dinner food. I definitely feel like out of all of those categories, party food is what I've tried the most of. Definitely had a lot of party food this year that I really enjoyed, and lots that I maybe enjoyed a little bit less, but I'm going to start with the snacks. So in terms of sweet snacks, I feel like it goes without saying that my all-time favourite sweet snack that I've tried this year has been the Morrisons gingerbread donuts. They were incredible. I think it's like 50p for 5, such a good price. The donuts themselves are so good, so soft, perfect level of sweetness, and the filling as well was just so incredible. It wasn't too sweet, it wasn't too sickly. I feel like gingerbread flavoured things can be often quite sickly, but they just nailed it. I feel like Morrisons hit the nail on the head with those donuts. Wish I could go buy more. Honestly, have been craving them every day since. I ate that whole packet of 5 donuts, I think in like 2 days, because I didn't want them to go stale. So I was a little bit like donutted out, but right now I would kill for another one of those donuts. Sitting down with a coffee and a donut. I definitely feel like if you've got a Morrisons near you, I would recommend going and seeing if they have those in stock. I will say go early in the morning if you can, because I have heard that they can sell out quite quickly. I'm pretty sure they're made by like the in-store bakery. So if you can get there early and you see the gingerbread donuts, I 100% recommend trying them. And then the other one of my favourite sweet things that I've tried were the Cadbury Bournville fingers. I feel like this is a little bit of a cheat because they aren't supermarket specific and they also aren't really Christmas related, but I tried them in my Sainsbury's Christmas taste test, so I'm going to include them, and they are incredible. They are so good. If you're vegan and you miss chocolate fingers, we can finally get our chocolate finger fix, which I'm very happy about. Love Bournville chocolate, love Cadbury fingers. I feel like you can't really go wrong, and the fact that I now have a biscuit that I can use as a straw for my tea is just life-changing for me. I'm so happy about it, so I definitely recommend picking those up as well. Pretty sure they have them at most supermarkets, so whichever supermarket you shop at, they probably should have that in stock. And then in terms of the other sweet things that I tried this year that I probably wouldn't repurchase again, I tried some tiffin from Asda, which actually wasn't that bad at all. I feel like it's a little bit harsh putting it in this category, but I just found it a little bit too sweet for me personally. I do think a lot of people would enjoy it. Pretty sure it was also free from, so if you are gluten-free, that's another good option as well. Personally, I just think I'll stick to making some homemade tiffin instead. Always is nicer, and that way you can control things like the sweetness and the fillings as well. So I probably wouldn't repurchase the Asda tiffin again. Same with the Aldi Lebkuchen. Again, probably butchering it just like I did in that first video. That seems like so long ago now since I filmed the Aldi taste test. That was literally, what, the start of November maybe? Can't even remember, but I didn't really not enjoy them when I had them. I thought they tasted nice. They weren't really anything like I'd had before, but I've just found since filming that video I haven't really reached for them in my cupboard, which is probably one of the nice things about filming this video, is that I've had time to like think about everything that I've tried. I feel like the taste tests give my immediate reaction, and now I can actually like think about it and know what I would repurchase again. And even though I didn't hate the Lebkuchen biscuits, I haven't really reached for them a whole lot. I am going to take them home with me for Christmas. I'm hoping my family like them and they'll get eaten that way, but I haven't eaten probably a whole bunch of those from the packet. And then in terms of ones that I definitely wouldn't get again, the Tesco Christmas tree biscuits and the Tesco pretzels, chocolate orange pretzels, were a huge letdown. Honestly, I have not had a single one of those since buying them. I will finish them, I will find a way to repurpose them in a way that I can enjoy them, but by themselves I just didn't think they were very nice. The biscuits were gluten-free and they had that like classic gluten-free texture where it tastes like you're eating sand. They also didn't have like a whole lot of flavour going on, and the pretzels were nice as like an initial taste. Like the first flavour that you get when you eat it is good, but then it just disintegrates and it's so plain and so boring that I just didn't really enjoy them, but that is my personal preference. So I think sweet snacks wise, the donuts and the chocolate fingers is what I would go for. In terms of savoury snacks, you guys will know if you've watched the previous hauls and taste tests. I will leave my Christmas playlist in the description if you haven't seen those, but if you have, you'll know my ongoing struggle with the savoury snacks this year. Supermarkets just need to up their game with savoury vegan Christmas snacks. I am a savoury person over a sweet person any day. I could probably live off crisps if I could physically live off crisps. They're up there with like my favourite food ever. And not many supermarkets brought out crisps that were Christmas themed and that were also vegan, which was just a massive disappointment. In terms of the supermarkets that did, I really enjoyed them. So I tried some turkey and stuffing tortilla trees from Aldi that I really enjoyed, really liked the flavour of those, and I actually found that I ate them super quickly. I think in my taste test video I wasn't like blown away by them and I felt like they needed a dip of some sorts. But I ate them plain and I ate that whole bag I think within like 2 days, so I would definitely recommend those. Pretty sure Waitrose has a similar sort of tortilla chip as well that is turkey and stuffing flavour, and it's also in the shape of Christmas trees, which I didn't get the chance to buy, but I've heard lots of good things about those as well. I also really loved the Sainsbury's Pigs and Blankets tortilla chips in the shape of Christmas trees. I feel like there's a little bit of a theme going on. I like the things shaped as Christmas trees, but I really enjoyed those as well, and it was the exact same situation where they were so Moorish that I ate pretty much like half a bag in one night, and I've only got a few left remaining, and I literally only filmed that taste test video yesterday, so they were clearly a big hit as well. And then I've also included the Asda and Tesco Pigs and Blankets peanuts on my would buy again list. I feel like I rated these a little bit harshly when I initially tried them. I think I said that in the Tesco video as well. The first taste of them isn't really anything special, and I don't think the taste of them is anything special. I don't think they taste like Pigs and Blankets necessarily, like that is not the vibe I get from them. But as like a thing in their own right, they are so Moorish. I don't know what's happened to me, but as soon as I had those peanuts in my house, I ate them so quickly. And peanuts are the kind of things where they're so calorie dense, but they're so small, and you're just eating loads of them and you don't even really realise, and all of a sudden you are literally so full you can't move, which happened to me multiple times when I had those peanuts, but they're just still so good. And I feel like nuts is such a big thing at Christmas anyway. If they're Pigs and Blankets flavoured or not, they're good, and I definitely recommend buying those. And then in terms of the savoury snacks that I was less of a fan of, this was much harder to think of. I do think the Sainsbury's roast gammon tortilla chips weren't my favourite, and I probably wouldn't buy them again. I mentioned in the taste test video that they didn't really taste bad in any way, and I feel like they probably taste quite accurate to what like a roast gammon tastes like. I just don't think I'm a big fan of that flavour where it's got like clove and other spices in that I just wasn't a fan of. So gonna eat them all, but I probably wouldn't repurchase them again. The next category are supermarket sandwiches. So if you've seen my eating meal deals for 24 hours video, you'll know that I tried a few in that. I also tried just a couple throughout the various taste tests. So I think in total I might have tried 5 or 6 this year. There were a lot of vegan turkey sandwiches, but I think in terms of what my favourites were, I liked the M&S one and the Boots one the best. Price wise, the Boots one ends up being a much better deal if you get it in a meal deal, so I would recommend that one the most. And then the M&S one if you want to treat yourself, because it is a little bit more pricey. And then in terms of the ones that I didn't enjoy quite so much, the Boots kind of market sausage, I think it was called, Christmas market sausage, wasn't a huge fan of. I found that one quite dry, and the flavour like not the right flavour. It was a little bit overpowering, but not in a good way. The same with the Lidl turkey sandwich. Wasn't bad in any sense, I just preferred some of the other ones. And then the Asda Bubble and Squeak sandwich wasn't my favourite either. I found that one quite dry and I just didn't really like the flavours going on. So I think if they bring out the same range of sandwiches next year, I would probably go for the Boots turkey one. Moving on to party food, this is definitely the category where I have the most stuff to talk about. In terms of my favourites, I feel like supermarket wise, Tesco wins. I was a huge fan of everything that I tried from them, apart from the Wicked Kitchen prawns, but I'm just going to ignore those. They would definitely be in my not buy again list. But the Bubble and Squeak bites, the mozzarella sticks, and also the no lamb samosas, All were incredible, all were like my top 3 party food that I tried out of everything. So good. I've still got a few left in the freezer and I'm literally so excited to finish them because they're just next level. I also was a really big fan of the Aldi Fusion skewers. That again seems like a lifetime ago, but I really enjoyed those. The Morrisons chili cheese bites, again, incredible. I hope they bring those out as like an all year round thing because they don't have to just be for Christmas. I feel like chili cheese bites need to be in the freezer section every month of the year. Also, pretty much all of M&S's party food range that I tried I really loved as well. So I would put the mac and cheese bites up at the top. I would put the mini vegan chicken Kievs at the top. And also in terms of like the battle of the duck spring rolls, if you guys have watched, you'll know that I've tried a lot of vegan duck spring rolls this year, and M&S's definitely come out on top. Definitely a lot more expensive, but if you're going to treat yourself at Christmas, I would recommend picking those up over any of the other supermarket spring rolls. And then in terms of the ones that I wasn't a big fan of, the Aldi cauliflower, pumpkin seed and chili bites. They're still in my freezer. I'm still trying to think of a way that I can eat them. Whenever I come to cooking something, I always just don't want to cook those because I don't feel like them at all. I think they would work in some sort of wrap where I can put a bunch of salad and a bunch of like dressings and other sauces on it to cover up the flavour, but I just didn't really like those very much. The same with pretty much all of the party food that I tried from Sainsbury's. I wouldn't rebuy them again. They weren't awful, but they were just quite expensive and not that great. So the pork belly bites, the fish and chip little canapé things, and also the tempura prawns, wouldn't buy any of them again. They didn't blow me away and they were quite expensive. Also, on the topic of prawns, I know I've already mentioned the Tesco Wicked Kitchen ones. They're definitely a no-go. I didn't enjoy those at all. But also just like the Asda Oriental selection box, which had a few different prawn options, I probably wouldn't buy again. They weren't awful, like the prawn toast and the little like battered prawns weren't that bad, but they just weren't that great either. So I didn't enjoy them enough, I think, to recommend them. The same with the Mexican selection from Asda. Didn't enjoy that at all. I didn't like the flavour of like the nacho triangle bites, and I didn't like the little burritos. Still have those in my freezer, so I'm still thinking of ways that I can eat them as well because yeah, they definitely don't appeal to me. And I do think a lot of the supermarket spring rolls as well, I probably wouldn't buy again, mostly just because I know how good M&S's are, and the other ones just seem a little bit disappointing in comparison, so probably wouldn't buy the ones from Aldi or the ones from Morrisons. And then I think that's kind of everything party food wise. So the final category would be the main Christmas dinner. I think in terms of like the turkey equivalent, like the main part of a Christmas meal, my favourite one that I tried was the turkey roasting crown from Tesco. Made that with my Christmas dinner video if you've seen that, and it was really good. I have heard some mixed reviews online that it's got the texture of a sponge, and I don't feel like that's completely inaccurate. The texture is a little bit weird, but I really enjoyed the flavour of it. It's like super garlicky, lots of herbs, lots of seasonings, and I think for like what you want on a Christmas dinner, it works really well, like covered in gravy with the rest of everything. I just think it's the best option that I tried this year personally. I did also try a couple of tarts. I tried one from Morrison's, the kind of layered vegetable tart, and I tried a like rosti from Aldi. Both of those weren't that bad, but I personally probably wouldn't buy them again. They're just not really my thing. I like to make that sort of thing from scratch where I can, and I probably wouldn't want to have those as part of my Christmas dinner. I did also try a vegan Wellington from Waitrose, which was a huge disappointment. It was actually so much of a disappointment that I kind of want to email Waitrose to let them know because I just did not enjoy it at all, and the pastry just was undercooked. Like the pastry was so thick that it was never going to cook, so it was mostly raw. I didn't like the filling flavour, and it was so expensive for what it was, so that was definitely a big disappointment. In terms of like sides on a Christmas dinner, the Morrison's pigs and blankets I really loved. I did want to try the Sainsbury's ones, but they got substituted in my shop, so I am yet to try those, although I did have them with my Christmas dinner last year and I did enjoy them. But I think the Morrison's ones are slightly cheaper and they're just as good, so I would definitely recommend picking those up. I also really enjoyed the Asda like pre-made vegan mash. Don't know if you'd have that with your Christmas dinner, but I would buy that again if I wanted pre-made mash. I definitely think it did the job and I really like the taste of it. Other sides that I wasn't a huge fan of, the Asda cabbage, mainly just because it's my personal preference and I don't think I'm a huge fan of red cabbage, so I don't think I would buy that again. Same with the Sainsbury's cauliflower bake and potato dauphinoise. I did not enjoy those at all. I would rate them very low. They're probably like the bottom of my list, to be honest. Would not recommend. They're £2.50 each, but I just didn't like the flavour of them, and the texture of the sauce was all wrong. And I just think if you're going to have those things, you're probably better off making them from scratch if you can. So I definitely wouldn't repurchase those ones. And then the M&S pigs and duvets as well, I probably wouldn't bother repurchasing. I thought the chorizo sausages were nice, but I think as like a pigs and blankets alternative, they're not great. They're essentially like little sausage rolls, which are nice in their like own right as a thing, but as part of Christmas dinner, I definitely probably wouldn't include these. And then finally moving on to the dessert options that I tried. I feel like this video has been super long, but I didn't try a huge amount of desserts, I don't think, over the past few weeks. Aldi definitely came through with all of the ones that I enjoyed. Obviously, if you've seen my mince pie taste test, you'll know that those ones were my favourite out of all of the ones I tried. I also tried some churros from Aldi, which were literally incredible. I'm pretty sure they're not just a Christmas thing, at least I'm really hoping they're not, because I want to definitely buy those again. So good. They've got like a liquid Nutella centre and like a cinnamon sugar on the outside, and they happen to be accidentally vegan, which is so nice. I also tried a chocolate orange melt in the middle pudding from Aldi, which I didn't actually include in my taste test, but I've eaten since, and I can 1,000,000% recommend this. It was so good. I thought it tasted kind of similar to like the goo puddings that I've had in the past. Considering it's like Aldi and so much more inexpensive, I think it was like £2 for 6 portions, and I'm pretty sure goo is like over £2 for 2 portions potentially. Tasted incredible, really loved the chocolate orange flavour, and like the texture was just amazing. I was very sick of it by the end of it because there is just one of me, and it is like a very sickly dessert, and I'm not a huge sweet person, so it was a little bit much. But if they made like individual portions of that next year, I would be all over it. The kind of thing that you can keep in your freezer and then like whip it out when you need it. I think if you're looking for like an alternative to mince pies, to Christmas pudding, to anything like that, and you have a chocolatey family, I would 100% recommend the chocolate melt in the middle pudding. And that is pretty much an overview of everything I've tried over the last few weeks. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this series and all of the Christmas content over the last few weeks. I feel like I've been quite busy, but I am not complaining because I got to try so much good vegan Christmas food, and I'm so ready for Christmas Day now, where I can just eat it all again and have like an actual excuse to eat it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.